At 12.0, we have a first reading. I just wanted to turn it over to Dr. Talley and her presentation regarding policy IKA-R.
Thank you, Dr. Little, and members of the board. Tonight I am presenting to you for first reading amended policy IKA-R, grading assessment systems. On May 14th, the State Board of Education made changes, additions and deletions to the uniform grading policy. And the revisions were to clarify, this is about the third or fourth iteration of the policy. And so they were to help clarify and more explicitly communicate to our students and our parents and our counselors what the grading policy is. I will tell you that this is a complex policy. I will also share with you that we do not have much wiggle room in the policy. This is our encyclopedia. It's Mr. Pender and Mr. Poole have this on their desk every day. And you see the tabs. They've made me a notebook, and they constantly refer to it when they're working with school counselors and with administrators, because we have to abide by the policy. Having said that, I'd like to point out to you, so for your consideration over the next month as you're looking at the changes in the policy, I want to point out a few things, and I'm going to refer to the text in red, and I too will try to be brief. If you follow along with me, first thing I want to point out to you is the conversion chart. You'll notice that on page 2 of your policy. You'll notice there's red text under the conversion chart. This is new, and it gives additional information and more explicit information regarding how you compute grades. So I wanted to point that out to you. You'd want to look at that. Also, you'll notice that this also offers information about credit recovery courses. So you'll want to look very carefully at that.
And Dr. Talley said that, but that is determined at the state level? I mean, when you say we have very little wiggle room, again, that's not for discussion for us to comply.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. If you will look under the section for honors courses, I'd like to draw your attention to that. This section explains the criteria that a local district uses to determine that a course is an honors course, so that criteria is there for you. I do want to point out in this section there is new language. If you look at the bottom of, sort of the bottom of page 4, there is new language there about receiving a credit for PE 1. Band now can be substituted for that, and ROTC also can be substituted for that, and we've been doing that for a long time. That part's not new, but the marching band is new, and I know many of y'all called me last year and asked me, when is that going to happen? When is that going to happen? What's happening now? Because we will implement these changes this school year. I'd also point out to you the section on transfer courses. This is new, and it speaks to students who transfer into our school system from homeschool, from private school, from non-accredited schools, out-of-state public schools. So you want to be sure and read that as well. Our district is certainly interested in dual credit courses. There's a section there that speaks to dual credit. You'll want to look at that. Finally, I want to point out something that in the policy has been stricken, and this is on the page 6, the very top. You'll notice the language has been stricken. The board will establish the criteria for determining honor graduates to include valedictorian or salutatorian. And I wanted to just speak about that for a moment. We've stricken that language because in Lexington County, a practice we have followed for the past 20 years is not to select a valedictorian and a salutatorian. And I will say that that's a practice that many school districts around the country actually have gone to. So as you know, we do recognize at graduation our top 10% of students or students who have a 4.0 or higher. I believe we heard this evening one of our students who received the award, Autumn, has an extraordinary GPA and 5th in her class. So she will certainly be recognized. So I just want to point that out to you. It is a practice we have for over 20 years exercised in our district. So I'm looking forward to next month. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have tonight, or feel free to call me, email me during the month. Be happy to answer any questions.
Board, any questions or comments for Dr. Talley?
I just have a quick question, and you, about the marching band.
Yes.
Because that's new, as a PE credit. But I know we have a number of band students who take, who are in upper level bands that receive honors weight. How would that calculate if they're using that honors band as also their PE credit?
Well, it's for PE 1, so that's one, that would be their marching band 1, that would be their credit for PE 1.
So they would still get the honors weight for the band and the regular weight for the PE credit?
Yes, it's two separate courses.
Well, I just think it's that Ms. Spearman recognized in the Department of Ed, it leveled the playing field, because when our kids applied to college and our grading system didn't match the rest of the nation, it's really hard when you apply out of the county. And kids had to configure things, and I'm glad to see us kind of matching up with everybody else. So, and I did hear that from parents a lot, that it was very frustrating that we were on such a different grading scale than the rest of the nation. So thank you. And board, we will vote on that next month, right, Dr. Talley? Yeah, so
That's
that will be
correct.
an action item next month.
Quick question. When we look at course withdrawals, how does that compare to colleges? Are they kind of under similar operating guidelines when a student decides to withdraw from a course? Say they think they're going to take AP English and they get in there, it's like, hey, this might not be for me. How does that?
I don't think colleges are as child-centered as we are regarding that. But would you have an answer for that, Mr. Poole, other than?
Colleges that we partner with grant a longer extension time. We have to go by the UGP. The colleges tend to be probably given another week or so.
Okay. And when we look at withdrawal, is there any factor given to kids on IEPs or 504s? Does that play? Are there guidelines surrounding that?
Yes, they're not around withdrawals. An IEP team can make decisions, but in terms of withdrawing, we have some discretion about withdrawal capacity, where there wouldn't be a negative GPA impact. But ultimately, Mr. Bender and I always consult. We come right back to the UGP and see what it says.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments, board?
Just educate. If you don't mind, educate me. Under the advanced learning opportunities, the advanced international certificate of education courses, are those like foreign exchange? Like, you go to Spain for 8 weeks and take a class? What is that?
Those are courses like AP courses, IB courses. There are courses called Advanced International Certificate of Education. We don't offer any of those in our district.
Oh, okay.
A state that does, I've learned this week, I've educated myself, is the state of Florida. It's offering more of those than any other state.
Okay. Anything else, board? Okay.